And we're live.
And we are live.
Hello, everybody. It's the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust, and I'm here with Peter, and we are your guides through South America's biggest country. How are you, Peter?
I am good. I'm good. A little tipsy, but not too much.
A little tipsy, but not too much. What have you been drinking today?
I have been drinking vodka and pineapple juice, actually. Very palatable beverage. Very tropical, very Brazilian.
Very Monday.
Yes, that's why. It is Monday. I have deliberately given myself a light workload on Monday so I can ease into the work week. The downside of that is that Tuesday through Thursday are a fucking bitch. But at least I get a sort of a 3-day weekend.
I got you. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for listening in if you're listening live. And tonight we are going to be talking to Carey Evans. She's a Canadian expat who came down to Brazil. She opened up a Canadian restaurant in Vila Mariana. And we're going to discuss all things food and also the challenges that she faced, opening a Canadian restaurant in Brazil, a foreign food restaurant in Brazil. She and I were speaking a bit backstage before the show about some of the difficulties with Brazilians and their tastes in food.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
I know. I didn't want to bust the load and just go off too much with her before we actually got up.
We will get to this, but I actually had 3 students go to Canada in a period of 3 months, and they all tried the poutine, and man, their reviews were just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, seriously, like, how can you not like poutine? So
that's one thing Carey and I were talking about is how you have to kind of ease Brazilians into certain foods because their palates are not always ready for the full blast version of most things. Let me actually take this off here because we are on. We will not be on shortly. And so, we're going to be talking about that and also just managing a restaurant during the pandemic. So that's going to be a real interesting talk. But before we move ahead to that, I want to thank everybody who liked and subscribed to the page. We got some new subscribers to the page. I want to thank everybody that listened to the last edition of the Brazil Expat Journal. It's become the Canadian Expat Journal.
Yeah.
We had a Canadian on last week.
Ron made it pretty clear he's not from Canada and he's glad not to be. So I think
he was like close to Canada, but not really. And so, but we love the Canadians. They're here. They're in force. Pete's from there also. So thank you guys for that. So don't forget to like, subscribe to the page, hit that little bell so that you can get notifications of when we will be on. And if you hit that like button, our videos kind of show up more on the YouTube searches. So it really helps the page. But Pete, before we get into everything that you and I have been up to in the last 2 weeks, just a little bit of news that I thought was funny news is that there was an anti-lockdown protest this weekend on Avenida Paulista. You see the guy there dressed as the Joker? I thought that was a nice touch.
Cool.
I had no idea. There's a page on Facebook that I follow, like right-wing gays.
Okay.
It's a pretty funny page.
Yeah.
So it said, Gays da Direita is on live now. I was like, what the hell are the right-wing gays in Brazil up to? And they were sharing the live video from this this anti-lockdown protest. And this seems to be what the fighting ground is going to be with the elections.
Yeah, it is. Not just in Brazil, I think, but everywhere. It's gonna be a key issue.
It's going to be a key issue, but I think in Brazil a bit more because of how slow these vaccine rollouts are. Like the rest of the world, well, not everywhere, but in a lot of countries, they're sort of getting back to stuff because vaccines are rolling out. They're already down to almost like the teenagers getting the vaccines in some
Yeah,
places. So the lockdowns aren't like in your face. We're in the middle of what I thought was going to be a 1 month lockdown, which
it
doesn't seem to have
is
an end date.
interminable. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
I
We
haven't
can't even
heard
go to
any.
the fucking movies now.
Hmm. We have no clue when this lockdown will end. So that's what's happening in Brazil. We're shutting out inside our house.
I know. I
But
wish I'd known about this though, because I totally would have been there for that.
oh, there were a bunch of people. You would have loved it. You might have met some
Right
gays.
wing
Did
gay
you date?
dudes. Yeah.
Gotten down with the gay community. Um, but speaking of lockdown, guys, and things that are going down on a lockdown, I'm going to give myself a real quick plug. I'm just going to share the whole screen because it's going to make it so much easier to do. This Friday, I believe, okay, we're going to be playing at Central Caos, which is a bar where our band plays, and we're going to do a live stream. So if you guys follow their page, well, he's got it up already. There you go.
Are they
Live, the
gonna?
bridge.
Are, oh, I was gonna ask if I could come, but actually Friday I have. Well, no, actually, her dad died of COVID, so she's suspended classes indefinitely. So
Oh,
yeah, I could
wow.
probably actually come to that.
If you want to come, you can. It's going to be an empty bar. Like we're doing a live transmission, but the drummer brought a friend of his last time, so you're more
Yeah,
than welcome
well, yeah,
to
Beto will
show
probably
up.
appreciate the business.
And yeah, so we're playing. So if you want to hear us play, check out their Instagram page at Chaos Bar. We play some Brazilian stuff, some American stuff, some whatever stuff, or English language stuff, I should say. And they also have, there's their website, Chaos Bar, Antiquities Bar. Real nice. Support them, guys. They're going through a rough time. So they have a YouTube page, which will probably broadcast live. It's Central Cows. So, even if you don't like our band, just show up on their YouTube page and just give them a click, give them a like. Um, let them know there's people out there supporting these small businesses, these bars that are just trying to keep their doors open.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening on Friday. But Pete, let's talk a little bit about what has happened in the last couple of weeks. I'm gonna go first just because I thought that this was I got the order of the what do you call it, the little slides wrong. But check this out, guys. I was a bad boy this weekend, and I went to a barbecue. I went to
A
a barbecue,
rooftop barbecue, it looks like.
rooftop barbecue with a whole lot of chicken there. As you can see, I'm muting it because there's some music in the background that might get us a YouTube strike. Real nice chicken, and we got some
Right?
ribs and some potato salad, some kale, and the corn, the Brazilian corn. We take no credit for the Brazilian corn, which had nothing on it, no butter, no salt, no nothing.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay. So that's what I did this weekend, which was
That's
my big.
nice.
I
Nice.
know. It was nice to see everybody. And before you all get preachy on me about, going to a
Oh, fuck
party
them.
during
Fuck them.
COVID, exactly, guys. Hey, I live by myself. I'm taking my own life,
Yeah.
into my own hands, and it is what it is. Hello, Israel. All right, we got Israel on. He's a student of mine, actually. He's actually come out to see the band. So, Israel, check us out on Friday. Speaking of which, we may not have class on Friday because of that. So, just so you know, it was last minute. But Israel's real cool, and he's come out to see us play out in Badawedi. And Pete, you're making news. Look at this. Blitz in São Paulo closes a clandestine party, a bar and saloon,
Oh shit.
between Saturday and Monday. So I was reading Pete's Facebook post, and apparently he discovered the underbelly of São Paulo. So tell us a little bit about
I
that.
I didn't discover it. What happened was I worked my fucking ass off in March, and one of the biggest jobs I had was for this French steel company, and they finally paid me, and it was like the kind of money where it's just like, it's the cheddar, baby. Like, I don't even need this. I want to reward myself for all the hard work I've done. And there's fuck all to spend it on. Like, why didn't I have that much money when Iron Maiden played in town, for example? Like, $600 for a concert ticket, no problem. At the time, it was a huge problem.
Yeah.
I didn't have $600, let alone be able to spend it on a concert ticket. But here I was, like, flush with cash that I didn't even really need. I was like, fuck it, I just want to go out and like blow it on having a good time. And I knew where the places were. They're not the sort of places that I would normally go to, but when they take away all other options, of course, that's where people are going to go because there's nothing else. There's nothing else. There's nowhere else to go. So yeah,
Is,
that's what
is
I
it
did.
Pete, is it one of those slash places like restaurants slash bars slash sauna slash whorehouse
Mhm.
slash church on
Um,
Sundays slash?
yeah, not well. It depends. I went to like three different places. I totally did a pub crawl, which was awesome. I went to like three different places in three different neighborhoods, and yeah, no, none of them were like that. None of them actually served food, but
Mm.
you could count on like a pool table, maybe a jukebox. Although one place I went to, they said we can't play the jukebox because the police will know that we're open. And that's the thing. Like, I knew these places, and the doors closed and the lights are off. But I pulled on the doorknob and it totally opened. And I went inside, and guess what? There's people there and they're open.
No, that was similar to what happened to me and my a buddy of mine when we went out on a Saturday to have lunch. Everything was closed, but then we just asked to see the menu at this one place, and the guy was like, "Well, why don't you go upstairs and look at the menu?" And we were like, "Okay." And then
Yeah,
there was like this very secretive little place up top. We had some nice burgers on
yeah.
Avenida Augusta.
That's the thing. A lot of the places are like above ground. That's why they can get away with this because there's no
Exactly.
outward appearance of a business being open. This one place I went to was actually a stripper, and sorry, stripper bar. Like I said, I've been drinking a bit, so pardon me if I
Hmm.
slur my words together a bit. And believe it or not, I've never been to a stripper bar in Brazil because stripper bars, to me, they're for like 21-year-olds and dirty old men. And I'm a lot older than 21, but not quite old enough to be a dirty old man. I'm getting there, but not quite. So I had never really had any interest in going to a stripper bar, but this place actually happened to be open. And there were actually, I don't want to say there were no strippers there because there were. They just weren't stripping. They were because there were no people there. Like, there was no audience, but they were kind of hanging out and chilling. And I got to meet some very nice salt of the earth type people, and the drinks were not that expensive. And yeah, it was chill. It was good to just get out and do shit and spend some money, man. Live like a fucking king.
Help the economy. By the way, check on Carrie because her phone apparently disconnected here. So make sure
Okay.
she gets on because we're almost ready to have her on.
We are about ready to bring you in. Yes.
Yes. So
Let me just check on that.
yeah, but no, I'm with Pete, and Pete actually made he made a funny post, but I appreciated its earnest nature in that he told his followers to support your local strip bars, support your local
No,
whorehouses.
no, go ahead, say it. Yeah, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead. Like, support
support
a
your
local
local
brothel.
whorehouses. Even if you're not actually gonna have sex with any of these women, buy them a drink. Actually, what did you say, Pete? That's one last moment she needs to have sex, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, this is a dangerous time for sex workers, and
Yes.
like, it's funny too because people walk in wearing masks and shit, and it's like, man, like, there is nothing more contradictory, I think, than wearing a mask to a whorehouse. Like,
Yes.
okay,
And,
Harry said you're
well,
here.
yes, and just one last thing. We're gonna have Carrie on. Brazil really supports its prostitutes, and I had shared a story with Pete about how there's a prostitution union, and they were
There
going on
is a
strike.
union in Minas Gerais. Yeah,
Yes, and they're
amazing
going on
story.
strike for better
So
working conditions.
good
But
for them.
Carrie's like, "What show have I stepped into?"
Yeah.
But there she is. There's Carrie. So let's
Yeah,
add her
yeah,
on.
she's here.
Let me add her to the stream, and there she is. What's up, Carrie?
Hey,
Welcome, Carrie.
I miss a good strip club too, guys. Don't worry. Brazil doesn't have the good ones like Canada did.
Oh, they're
Yes,
really
yes,
bad.
Canada is the king, man. In Victoria, people used to come all the way from Seattle just for the strip clubs.
Yeah, they're
I
pretty good, man. The
I
airport
went
ones are just phenomenal.
I went to a strip bar here in República area, but a straight strip club, but
Oh,
that's
that
mostly
sounds
like a
rough.
gay area. Man, that was like the worst place I've ever
Yeah,
been in my life. And some of those strippers, I'm gonna
yeah.
sound
If you
very.
can walk, we'll put you on stage.
Yes, yeah, like I don't want to sound like degrading to some of these women, but I'm like, they should not have been up on that pole, and I was worried for the pole. But yeah, it was what it was. I was like, okay, they're doing their job, so congrats to them. But anyway, let's talk some food, guys, with Carrie, uh, a transplant from Canada who's been down here in Brazil. How long have you been down here in Brazil,
Oh
actually?
God, I got here. I came down to visit, and it was in 2004.
Oh wow.
I worked in film and television, so we were on hiatus, and that was when SARS. We were just getting over the end
Wow,
of
so this is
SARS,
like
but
your
like
second
production.
pandemic.
What's that?
This is like your second pandemic then.
No, because it was the pig
Yeah,
virus in the middle. Wasn't there the swine flu in between? So she had
yeah, but it was just like
SARS.
SARS was. I mean, I don't even really think we really took serious. It was not a big deal to us. I mean, it was just that we felt it with work because the productions weren't coming down to Toronto. So I decided to come down to Brazil. I had 6 months. It always slows down during the winter months, and so I came down, and my ex at the time wasn't done university, and I thought, oh, I want to know Brazil. I want to know, what's going on down there, what you're doing with your free time, kind of thing. And came down, ended up liking. I thought, well, I've got 6 months. I'm going to go back, put my stuff in storage, save some money on rent, right? And I came
Hmm.
back down. It was almost 2005, and I never went back home.
Oh, cool.
So
So
Wow.
your Brazil came into your radar through love, then.
Brazil. I think most people get their courage to live internationally is always because of love, I don't think I've heard many stories because not because of love. Most of them
Hmm.
are.
I would actually beg to differ. I think
I'm
it
not. I'm
depends
just
on
saying. I'm joking, but
yeah, no, when it comes to Brazil, that is definitely true. Where most of the expats here have some kind of family or romantic
that's true.
connection.
That is true.
But
Business. They come down for business.
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you look at like China or Korea or Japan, most of those places, people actually just decide to go there for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brazil
That's
is unique that way.
No, I agree. Usually, you got to have some sort of connection here
yeah.
for, you know. Uh, I mean, Rio. I guess there's the draw of carnival. So some people come down for carnival and then they just fall in love and they stick around.
Yeah.
So you've been expatting since 2004, and you said you worked in TV before this.
Yeah, I was in film and television. I actually was in the union IATSE for international films, like, American productions. And before that, I was doing independent. So
So what?
I used to do a lot of stuff like for Toronto Sundance and
Oh, nice.
Toronto
So
Film
what
Festival.
drove you into the food?
How did I get into the food? Well, I had my studio because when I got here in 2004, the noise pollution, all the billboards, because I was specialized in large format, like high resolution for large scale photography. I'm a photographer, commercial photographer. And so when I got here, basically everything that I was doing or that where I'd make my money had stopped in São Paulo. All of the billboards came down. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know if you were here for that,
I
but
remember.
Yeah. So I had to make a decision, what I'd be doing. So, when I first got here, I was teaching English. I had my certificate, just to get my, pay my bills and rent and all that kind of stuff. But my focus was my photography. And I went back into editorial. I was shooting for, agencies and, some of the big magazines, well-known magazines here and stuff like that. And I was continuing my celebrity. People had found out that I was here, so I was getting word of mouth. People were calling me because they had found out I was down here and they knew about my portfolio and what I had worked with and who I had worked with. So, but it wasn't enough, like I remember my wife now. I remember when I decided, I've been with my wife now for 10 years, but I remember when we were making that decision if I would stick with my photography or would I invest it into something else? And, she basically just said to me, Carey, yeah, I made very good money here in Brazil, doing photography. Like if I worked 4 hours, I'd make 10,000 reais, but I might not get another job for 4 or 5 months.
Right.
So being alone and single, it worked. I mean, for me, it was okay. I had money coming in from Canada and I had money here and I was teaching English. So I was having a good time, but then, settling down and that kind of thing, it wasn't long term. Well, it wasn't enough. It was just like, I wanted something a little more stable. And Lou said to me, my wife said to me, like photography for me was stable, but it was just that constantly hunting for the next job because I was a freelancer.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
It's difficult, even as an English teacher. I mean, when I was teaching, my classes would get canceled at the last minute, and then you get the whole down when it would go into that lull beginning in October, and then you start suffering with the October until Carnival. All your students cancel, and they start flooding back in after Carnival. But so it was just like I was so tired, and I had not to make it sound funny. I struggle with narcolepsy. I don't have narcolepsy where I fall asleep, but I have daytime tiredness with my neurological problem. And teaching, it was horrible because I have to be active. Because if I'm not active, I get that feeling of I need to sleep. I don't fall asleep, but I get that feeling. And teaching English was torturing me. I can imagine what my students were thinking because I was like probably the twitchiest teacher they ever had. I was jumping up every 10 minutes, like because I would do private lessons. I'd be like, hey, do you want a coffee? Do you want to drink a water? Because it was the only way that I could keep myself awake, Oh man, I suffered. And I was just like, man, I can't do this. I need to do something else.
And those heavy Brazilian lunches don't help either.
And you need higher brain functions to teach English too.
That's teaching English, I really give it to you guys.
Able to think.
But so let me ask you.
Constantly engaging, like you're constantly. It's like pulling teeth because you're student. You're the entertainment for the hour.
It's not just the higher brain, because the higher brain functions are like explaining like what the past perfect is, which is difficult enough. But then you actually have to like work to connect on a personal level and make this fun. Like, man, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's draining, and I remember, so I did it. I did that for, I think, about 5 years, and I stuck with my photography, and then finally, I've always been an entrepreneur. You have to be when you're a freelancer in anything, you are a business person, So I started looking at things, and I was always really good, because I worked as a commercial photographer, so I was always building campaigns of some sort. So I thought, what could I whip up? What does not exist here? And I remember my wife, just when we had just started the beginning of us dating, I remember her saying to me one time,
Carey, can I cut you off 1 second?
Sure.
Your wife, she's a Brazilian?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And she's actually a veterinarian, but it wasn't at the time. I mean, now she's she's a avian vet. So, but anyway, back to the story. So she said to me, Carey, like, what do you guys eat? Like, what is like a traditional plate in Canada? I'm like, well, for us, it's just like whatever has potatoes on the plate, like you guys have rice. We have potatoes. We have vegetables. We eat way more vegetables than you guys, but usually the vegetables, the potato, and some sort of meat, right? That's traditional. And she goes, yeah, but like, what is it, specifically? I said, well, we have like our trash, after a party kind of food, and that's like poutine. But like you get a good poutine. And she was like, what the
Yeah.
hell's that? And I said, it's a meal. It's a meal in a box. It's like,
Yeah.
she's like, well, make it for me. So I whipped it up. And it's funny because I never ate poutine in Canada. I had it
Really?
once in a while. I wasn't a poutine eater, but because I was in the English part. So for us in Ontario, I'm from
It is
close
a
to
very
Toronto.
Quebecois dish, yeah.
Yeah, like we were more into like subs and like fries on our gravy, but not poutine. Like you could get it once in a while, but it wasn't like a constant like Quebec. So I said, well, poutine, and I'll whip it up for you. And so, and she first mouthful, she's just like, Jesus, what is this? And she's, but in a good way, and I was
Yeah.
expecting it to be like, oh, that's disgusting, because Brazilians aren't used to French fries being saturated in liquid, like a
No,
gravy,
I know. I actually
and
had
that's the
three
best part,
students.
it's like
Yeah.
soggy fries, it's like a French fry soup, it's like awesome.
Even Americans aren't used to it because
Yeah,
I'm from Victoria, which is really close to
right.
Washington State, and like you just go over the border. I used to like go to Washington State all the time, and like
Mhm.
you ask for gravy on your fries, they look at you like you're fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah,
what's
I've never
gravy
and
had
on?
we
it,
even put
so
vinegar on that, sometimes.
Yeah.
no, I can attest to that. I've never had it. I've never seen anything like it in the
Right.
U.S. We put
Yeah.
cheese on the fries. That's about it.
You get like the cheddar, eh? So it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, the cheese
Yeah.
whiz or the cheddar.
Chunk. I think you guys have like the chunkier fries with cheddar, which is really good. I think Toby's had that. I don't know if you know Toby's, but,
No.
but anyway.
So
So
so so back to your story. So you're
sorry.
thinking about this food. Is your wife kind of pushing you in the direction?
No, no,
Because
no. So I'm gonna tell you, our story is kind of crazy. So she tested it, she tried it, and she just went, "Wow!" And I said, "What? You've never had poutine?" And she's like, "No." And I said, "Wait a minute." I remember this. I went into my computer, like within 10 minutes, I did a search. There was nothing. I said, holy shit. This light bulb went off in my head. And I said, wow, there's a niche in the market. There's like a huge opportunity here for poutine. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's brought it. No one's done it. I think there was a Canadian bar called Canucks, I think in
It still
Itaiuti
exists.
or Moema, but they closed,
No, it's in Pinheiros now.
oh, was that the one we were talking about before the show, Carey? Maybe that's
Yeah.
the Quebec bar.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
but
they changed their name, but it was actually called Canucks. It was a Canuck bar. It was called Canucks,
okay.
and it was in Moema. If you Google it, still shows up on some searches.
Okay.
It does.
No,
It's
the
been
place I'm
gone.
thinking
It's been
of
gone
is
over
the
10
Maple
years.
Leaf restaurant. The Maple
No,
Yeah,
Leaf.
that's
the
Quebec.
one. Yeah, that's the one.
That's a
we were
different
talking
one.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went, wow, and Lou's looking at me like, oh, great, Carey, what are you doing now, right? So I'm, great at marketing and branding. That's what photography. I create concepts, right? So I whipped together a whole business proposal, and Lou's like, what are you doing? I said, listen, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put together a business plan, like a presentation on a slide. I'm going to send it to the best agencies that deal with hiring food concepts for music shows. So I sent it out to Rock in Rio. I sent one out to, and when I do things, I go for the big bang, right? So I put together this kick-ass presentation, and I edited the images to make it look like it was all new, like original concept, took out images from other people, but got really clean ones, you know what I mean? Like very professional. Put together a whole menu. I built a menu. This is all happening within 2 days. I sent it out to Time for Fun that do all the shows here in São
I used to
Paulo.
work with some folks
Yeah.
from there.
So I sent it out to Time for Fun, and then I sent out another presentation out to Rock in Rio. So that was I think it was on a Wednesday, okay? So I sent it out, and Lloyd's like, you're crazy. I said, listen, I'm just going fishing. That's the way I put it. I'm just going fishing. I want to see who bites. I want to see if there's an opportunity here. So Friday afternoon, I remember taking my dogs down to Ipupuera, and I swear to God, I just crossed over the little bridge there where the museum is there now. I don't know if you know the area. So I cross over into the park, and I swear to God, my feet hit the grass, and my phone starts going off. It was like, I think they talked to each other. Within 45 minutes, I had 2 phone calls, one from Rock in Rio and one from Time for Fun, asking if I would. First, Time for Fun said, can you do a show next Sunday? I think it was, one second, Luana, who was it with? Time for Fun was, I forget the band. It wasn't Rolling Stones. It was Black Sabbath. They wanted me to do the private for Black Sabbath in a week. Now remember we hadn't even cut one French fry yet. I hadn't even a piece of equipment. Basically, I put the cart before the horse, but I was just like, holy shit, and that's how it all started. We had, within 3 weeks, I had rented a location to get. There's a whole story involved there, and I won't drag it all out here on live audio, or on your show. But basically, that's how we began. It was just like that.
It's a shot in the dark.
I just went running. That's how I am. It's my personality. It's like I'm very focused. I'm very driven when I want something. So I just went right after it.
But Carey, you're in the right country to do that, because Brazil is very fly by night, and sometimes you hit the mark, sometimes you don't. But I think Brazil is a country that really you benefit a lot if you have your type of personality. Just go for it. Go for the top dogs.
Right. And because if you're wishy-washy, here it's difficult. We'll get on that topic. It's very difficult. It wasn't easy for Lou and I. You imagine 2 women. We were in a neighborhood, Villa Mariana, but it was like old money. Very, very way of thinking of it was like, it was old money, but it was like families that had lived and inherited their parents' house, didn't have the money to the upkeep of their parents' house, but they're still in the neighborhood. So they're very close-minded. They have their own clique of friends. So we didn't get a lot of support. It took a long time, almost 8 years of the restaurant being open, that now we have clients, because the younger generation is moving in.
Right.
So the younger generation is in, and we have, but it was a slow crawl, but and we designed the business because I had to think of like, okay, we're gonna open up a poutine restaurant. Nobody knows what it is. They have no idea where it came from or the history behind it. No one's eaten it. And then I had to sell the idea of soggy French fries on top of it with toppings. Very difficult for Brazilians. And so, so we sophisticated it. So what I said to Lou was like, let's do this, but let's upscale it. That was how we introduced it into the culture here in São Paulo. So we chose toppings. We make everything from scratch, homemade ketchup. Everything's fresh cut fries are daily. Nothing's frozen. We have I make homemade maple bacon. I make Pimel bacon. I'm losing my accent, my English accent. I can't even say bacon anymore.
I know.
So
I've been here long enough. Yes, I'm showing the menu, by the way, on the screen.
It was much bigger actually, because what we did was, the concept originally was we brought the original poutine from Canada, but then I took a flavor, a very a well-known cultural flavor from around the world, every country, so I had like kimchi fries, but really sophisticated with caramelized baby beef. So we took flavors, Mexican, like Indian ones, Italian, Greek. We had flavors from all around the world, and we had the flags on there. And then as 10 years went on, we reduced the menu because now we're franchising, so we had to, I reduced it, and then we'll introduce like specials every month, of new flavors, or reintroduce old ones that clients still look for, But like I said, it was a slow crawl because we didn't have the money. I sold my studio equipment to invest, to opening the space. We had nothing. I had no experience. I mean, I've always been a good cook, but I never thought that I would have a restaurant. I mean, I always thought about it when I was younger, but I never thought I'd be a chef. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I really did my homework, and cooking just always came natural to me. And Lou, learned it as we went along, and she had her own her own, idea of what she wanted to do with her career long term, and that was be a vet, and also our security nest would be the franchises. We didn't want to be hands-on anymore, sorry, my cat's crying here. So basically it was our investment, and we were really hands-on, and now we want to get out of it and just manage the restaurant. We don't want to be doing it anymore.
It took you like 8 years to build this business up, and then the events of the past year must have just been devastating.
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
We lost 90%. 90%. We were hit hard, and it wasn't. It's just imagine because our product is not a product that you do delivery. So our house, our restaurant,
I can't get it delivered, man. I've been trying your restaurant for like a year, and it's not possible. It's
on the weekends. Just to give you an idea, we were packed. Like you'd have a lineup around the corner to get in and waiting for a table. During the week it was empty, but on Friday and Saturday it was packed because our clients came far to have poutine, and it wasn't the people that were around us living that were eating there. It was people that were driving because they wanted to relive their experience in Canada, or bring their family to experience what they had in Canada, So,
and I've seen pictures of your interior, and it looks like one of your best selling points is that you provide like this good upscale pub atmosphere, and that's
I don't know if it's
translate to delivery.
Yeah, because we do the delivery. And who knows poutine? Like imagine somebody who doesn't know poutine and orders it and thinks, we've had people say, what the fuck is this shit? It tastes really good, but you know what? The fries were soggy. And then so we would respond back, well, thank you for the compliment, because they're supposed to be, because it's like,
and you look at the way Brazilians really cut fries too. Like you go to a pub and you order fries, and you get like the driest fucking fries imaginable. Yeah. And they're actually considered a meal. So for Brazilians, that's a big adjustment.
It's a huge adjustment. Because Pete just kind of brought something up, and I want to go, before we move ahead to issues with pandemic and everything, just from the beginning, okay? Two things I want to hit on, which I think would be important for our listeners and even people who are thinking about investing in Brazil and starting something in Brazil. One, starting a business in Brazil, the kind of boring bureaucratic stuff. How did you get through that? Who did you get to help you get through that? Because I know Brazil is not one of the easiest countries to start a small business in. And I can't even imagine how difficult it is to start a restaurant.
Especially as a foreigner,
Especially as a foreigner. So I want you to hit on that. And then after that, I want to get into how it is that you got Brazilians to get accustomed to that different taste. When it was kind of similar to the stuff we were talking about pre-show, getting Brazilians accustomed to that different palate and stuff like that. So first, let's get to the nuts and bolts part of it. Like, how did you get through the bureaucracy, the Brazilian red tape?
Right. Well, we went through, we had a hard time because we ended up not doing any of the shows with Time for Fun. Why? Because of the bureaucracy. We could not get through all the paperwork stuff because the company would not hire a restaurant if they were not registered and had all the licensing happening. And that takes a long time. Even we've been running for 10 years, and can you believe we still have just the protocol of of operational, how to be operating? We don't actually have anything confirmed, and that's been like that for 10 years because things just don't get done.
So that doesn't surprise me, though. That doesn't surprise me.
I believe it 100%. It's not surprising at all.
Anybody, if the Prefeitura, if they came and checked up on us, which they never have, I think once they came by when they checked for your little signs, for no smoking, that kind of stuff, making sure that they're visible. But other than that, nothing has, nobody's ever checked up on us, and we're still running I lost my train of thought. Sorry. about the documents. So yeah, we didn't lose the jobs. It was just like I said, Lou, we're not ready, to do that. We ended up having the restaurant sitting for almost 3 months. We rented the place because we needed a fixed location, a brick and mortar to work at these shows. Like they had to have an address. So we ended up renting a place just so that we can open up our business and get the licenses, the process, the protocol, and all that. And then I said, Lou, you know what? Because
our objective.
Sorry, I'm losing my English. Wow. Our objective was, I'm going to come to your English classes, Peter. Our objective was to just do the shows, catering and buffet kind of things, hired privately. And then I said, Lou, you know what? I think this is a good opportunity. Maybe this is happening for a reason. Let's open it up. Let's test the brand. So what we ended up doing was testing it. We stayed in a smaller space. We're not in that space anymore. But I said, let's open it up. Let's test it out. Let's see the reception that we're going to get with our products. So we started doing it. I applied my photography. I took, decent photos. I posted it everywhere that I could get. I did, back when it was a big phase, I did a few coupon offers to get new people into the restaurant. It's great. I would never continue to do coupons because you don't want to be known as a place that, you want to get something for cheap. You have to stick to your guns, But it was good to get new clients in, and then those new clients, word of mouth. So I said to Lou, we didn't have overhead. We didn't have all that money. We just didn't have it, to invest in high campaigns to make us bigger. So we did the slow crawl, but it really gave us really good roots. We're firm, and the clients that started coming to us 10 years ago are still coming to us. They don't come as frequently like when they were going crazy over the product, but they still come. They still come when we have a brunch to get, the brunch has nothing to do with our menu, but we do it to show our clients, share something of the Canadian culture, or expats that are here come with their kids or their families, or Americans that just want that type of breakfast like that.
And that's something you should actually promo at this point, Carey, because I know I used to get your invitations all the time. I've never been because brunch is too early for me. But you, besides poutine, you do actually offer this very unique brunch promotion, which is
we do that. We were doing it like every 2 months. Just so that people wouldn't get tired of it, and it did really well, like I said, we made everything homemade, like the homemade maple bacon and Pimo bacon, like things that were very traditional, butter tarts and all that kind of stuff. So it was just something, just to give back a little bit. We didn't charge an arm and a leg, and they had some good food, authentic, and it's great because it helps us, we're away from home. I'm not American, but it's like, it's very close to the same kind of food, the IHOP kind of thing, So we always got a lot of Americans and Canadians, got a lot of French, Quebecois that would come, and just our regular clients. They liked it. They really liked it, yeah.
You're talking about your regular clients being foreigners. What did you do to really capture the Brazilian audience? Because I really like what Pete said, this brunch thing. I think because for Brazilians, they love that caring type of attitude, like the TLC, type of attitude. Even if the end product may not even be that good, but if a place acts like they're caring for you, they really like it.
Well, that's exactly it. You hit the nail on the head, because how we did our business, it's just like a mom and pop kind of thing, except it was 2 women, married women. So that was one of our obstacles too. Like I said, I think a lot of the men in our neighborhood didn't come because of that. But, very old school. They didn't really agree with it. But anyway, so we treat, I am extremely friendly. It drives Lou crazy because she's the Brazilian reserved, So I was always talking to my clients. I joke a lot, that dry British humor that, Canada has a big influence from the Brits, So we incorporate that into our menu. We make fun of things, but in a clever kind of way. It's, we couldn't afford buying the ketchup a lot all the time because it's expensive, because we put it in our gravy. I'm not going to give all the details, but it's just like there's little tricks of things. And I decided to end up making it homemade. It ended up being one of our signature kind of things in the restaurant. So even though economically we couldn't afford a lot of stuff, we ended up doing things homemade because we had a higher return of interest, and ended up being signatures for us, So,
Cool.
hands-on, it was a lot of work. I remember Lou and I, when we first started, we didn't have a car for 3 years. Imagine, just think about two women going down to Central with a little suitcase, and we were bringing back 50-pound bags of potatoes every 4 or 5 days, sweating our asses off, like wife beater t-shirts. I just can imagine, like if they could make a movie of us, and we really busted our asses. Imagine no car and 50-pound bags of potatoes, and with all our other supplies, and taxis wouldn't take us. We were pulling this onto a bus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, taxis back then didn't want to put things in their trunk, frescura,
Especially not
what I mean?
sacks of potatoes.
But yeah, sorry?
It said especially not sacks of potatoes.
Yeah, well, we would only bring 100 kilo, 50, 100 kilos,
Christ.
but still, so it was like we were selling a lot. Now we don't sell anything like that anymore, unfortunately, so I just think it really showed. It shined through that the care and the work that we put into it and the effort, and like I said, I really treated our clients like family, and they come back and they come to the kitchen door, and they always, hey, Carey, and they give me the hug, you know what I mean? Like clients, where do you see that, So, and these have been 10 years. We thank God, it's something I'm really proud of.
Yes. And as far as getting the Brazilians accustomed to something different, because Carey and I, guys, before the show, we were riffing off of Brazilians and their unique
They're
tastes.
bland palates. They have bland palates.
Yeah.
Well, they're, and I think there's a reason for that, which is because Brazilians, for the longest time, until maybe about the time that Carey got here, didn't have enough money to travel here and travel there. You can't
Yeah, they
compare
didn't have that
a
comparison.
Brazilian. Yeah, I mean, an American we can jump up to Canada, we can go down south, and then we have New York, where everybody's cuisine is ready, and so we get to taste different things. In Europeans, there's no comparison. I mean, you just go over the border, you're in Spain. Go over the border, you're in Portugal. So you get they from a young age, they're accustomed to tasting a lot of different things, and Brazilians just aren't. So how is it that you got Brazilians to deal with these soggy fries, as you call them?
That was the thing one of my students said to me. He's like, I like sauce. That's what he called it. He called it sauce. He didn't even know the word for gravy. He's like, I like sauce on my fries, but not too much sauce. And I wanted to smack him upside the head. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? That's the point. That's the point. Yeah. So how did you get them to adjust?
So like I said, at the beginning, we came up with the concept of sophisticating it. So that was one thing. We sophisticated something in order to sell one idea, and we extended it to lots of different flavors on top of fries, from all over the world. That's how we started. Then, so I focused, because every good business plan is you need to find out who your market is, right? So our niche was intercambio. A lot of Brazilian 16-year-olds are going off to countries, and Canada is one of the top ones, right? So they come back, and they always come back looking for poutine, so and they want to share with their friends, get together with the gangs of people that they met there, you know what I mean, other Brazilians. Or they want to bring their family and share it with the rest of their family, So I marketed in a lot of the schools. I did a parceria with École, which is the French school. Oh, nice. So they were bringing their students. The teachers would get free poutine if they brought 6 or more students. So they would come and have a class, a practical hands-on, French class at the restaurant,
Nice.
So we did that. And then it just, like I said, it was that slow crawl, but it was like good food. And as long as you treat your clients really well and good service and with the good food, that word of mouth, it spread. It was, you can, like I said, you can do the campaigns and go hard, fast, or we did the slow crawl, but the roots were deeper and more firm, to make it in layman's terms, like say in layman's terms, but just to so we had a steady, the tree grew strong for us, but it took a bit longer, and so it was just introducing it in that way. So it was, like I said, it was word of mouth. So like those students would come, those 6 students with the French teacher never had poutine before, but because it's part of the culture and the teacher was explaining, this is what we eat in Quebec, our junk food. So it grew like that. And then I would advertise like, oh, have your going away party, going away to Canada party, so, we'd close the restaurant down for parties too, for people that were moving off to Canada,
That's real
stuff,
smart.
Yeah,
so.
Brazil in general is like that though. Like it's never. I don't know that the running straight out of the gate and going full speed thing actually works. I mean, it might work in the short term,
No, it
but if you
fizzles,
have the long game,
Yeah.
I think the building up connections and taking the slow route usually works better.
Yeah, it
And
does actually. Yeah, I
it does, and
agree.
you have to make that connection. It's funny because the last episode of the Brazil Expat Journal, we were talking to another Canadian who's an English teacher, and she's been very successful because she's done something similar to you. She's created this family around her, and she's connected the English to Canadian culture. So when you're on her Instagram page, she doesn't just teach English, she teaches about Canadian culture. And Brazilians are very attracted to stuff like that. They live these fantasy lives of wanting to
In
be in Disney
their
World or wherever
heads, in
in
their
their
heads.
heads. But it's a smart thing. Like I love when you've said it twice already. You said it at the start and right now about how you kind of sophisticated it. Because I'm sure poutine is something like I laugh when I go to Taco Bell here or something. It's like this is like what we eat after we smoked a lot of weed, you know.
Yep.
And we got like maybe $5 in our pocket. We're gonna go to Taco Bell and eat some shitty like Tex-Mex food. But here it's like chicy, you know. Like when I first got to
Yeah.
Brazil and I went to McDonald's, it's like chic McDonald's. Like what?
Yeah.
So those are two things that are really important if anybody's thinking about investing here and starting a restaurant business here. You have to have that draw of like, look at this exotic dish, the poutine,
Yeah.
and sell that. And Brazilians are going to buy into it. And if you have the right personality, you bring that warmth along with it. They're down. They're going to be like, yeah. I mean, when they eventually travel to Canada and buy it for like 5, Canadian dollars.
Oh, we used
That's
to buy
later.
an A&W, man. Even McDonald's started doing poutine after a
Yeah.
while.
Wendy's and Harvey's had their versions
Yeah.
too.
I
Yeah.
liked the A&W version though. The A&W version was pretty
That's
good.
so weird, guys, because I've never seen poutine in the U.S. Maybe I wasn't looking, but I used to try to eat as much weird, different types of food as possible, but I've never seen it in the U.S.
Yeah, it was one of those
Uh,
hidden gems, It's like it
yeah.
just started getting popular. I think the last 4 or 5 years, poutine's kind of gone
Yeah.
international. But
Yeah.
before it was like one of those hidden things.
I've been watching Letterkenny recently, and there's actually this whole dialogue the guys have about like how as soon as you cross the border, you can't get gravy on fries, and it's really annoying. And living in
Right.
a border town, I can totally relate to that. It's like you ask for gravy on your fries, and the waiters look at you like you're fucking crazy.
I
Like
know.
who has ever done that? But
Uh,
that's just in America, so I can imagine how difficult it must be in Brazil.
Right. Well, just a little thing off top, like when you were talking about going the slow route, I'll give you a good example. Remember when like the food truck craze was like really big about 4 or 5 years ago,
Oh
and
yeah.
but the licenses weren't approved. And Lou and I worked. We were helping a company, a company that builds trucks, vans, and stuff like that, customized. And I was helping them with marketing, and Lou was helping like with the sales and stuff. Just something a little bit extra. Um, and I saw And I said to Luann, I said, this is going to burn out so fast, because what
Yes,
happens is
and
that
it did.
Brazilians get something new, and everybody's so desperate to have a piece of that and they dive in, and they suck the life out of it so fast, and it dissolves. That's
Yes,
the
this is so
problem
true.
here. The life gets sucked out of stuff,
I
and because everybody's
know.
desperate to make money off of it,
Yeah, I've been here only 7 years, so I mean, like less than half the time of you, and I've seen so many fads come and go just in that short time. So I can't even begin to imagine what the long game is like.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
little bit because of the what Brazil is as far as the economic roller coaster that it is. I don't think people think that far ahead. I used to teach a guy who was a lawyer at this big meat company, let's just say, and he would say that when the American lawyers came in, they couldn't figure out like how do you guys manage down here? Like there's no such thing here as a real 5-year plan. Like they'll write one,
Nope.
but it's like
Nope.
there's no such thing as
Exactly.
a 5, 10, 15-year plan. And this is like in a big company, like I think it was the second
Hmm.
biggest meat provider producer in Brazil. So I think that gets down to just people on a day-to-day level. They're not thinking a week ahead. They're like, oh, food trucks, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then eventually they get tired of it, and then it's like something else.
Yeah, but that's
So
just
it's
like when you try to make plans with a Brazilian. I mean, let's
Yeah,
agree. I mean, it's
yeah,
just a complete extension of
yes,
the culture. You can't make a plan because in 2 days they're doing something else, or an hour before they've changed everything.
yeah. Yes
How would
exactly,
it
means
be any
maybe,
different
and
with
maybe
business?
means no.
Yeah, maybe means
exactly.
no. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
which gets us to, speaking of big crazy changes, the pandemic, COVID,
Right.
and how that has really affected the whole country. And we're locked down, and we're not locked down, and now we're like in the infinite lockdown. Carrie, how is it that you have been managing through this time with your
I'll
restaurant?
be completely honest. We lost like 90% our clients because our restaurant was a social meetup. Like it was like this little hub, come watch a hockey game, all that kind of
You had
stuff,
to be there. You had to
You
be
had to
there.
be there and to feel, all the whole Canadian thing. It was more about the Canadian themed restaurant. It was small. Our place is tiny. It only has 23 tables. But it's like, I don't know. It was just more about the experience and the good food, but it wasn't, we got hit hard just like everybody else. I had
Mm-hmm.
to, there was no, I stopped doing social media. Like I just do once in a while because what's the point, because my food, nobody, I'll be very honest because iFood, it works on its own. It's got its own mind, iFood, because if you've got a 5-star,
Oh,
nobody gives a shit
yeah.
who you are. It's just whatever's cheaper. If you've got a 5-star or a 4.8, then you get more visibility.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
yeah, I
have
mean,
a
I
they have
know
a
I don't need
delivery
to advertise
range
to my
as
regular
well.
clients. So sorry, go on.
No, iFood has a delivery range. Like you're listed on iFood, but I cannot. I've tried many times to get
Yeah.
your restaurant to deliver to me, and they won't just because it's across the river. They won't
Yeah,
Uber
do
we,
it.
Eats is
we
the
have
same.
Yeah, we have a couple like we tell. This is one thing I'm gonna, because we do tell everybody, but like like Logi or Logi, whatever it is, you can order, just pay like by Pix to me, and just order your own driver by Logi, or Happy goes long distance also. But iFood, because we use their drivers, right? We can't afford to pay our own driver anymore, so
Right.
we're prisoners to their system, and it sucks. We have to pay them 30% of
Yeah.
whatever we're making. We're making crap. Like we make maybe 4 orders a night now, on a good night 6, but we've reduced our hours. We're just getting by. We don't make money. So, we're just like, I'm not going to pack it in. It's just that we're just going, plugging along, not making any money, and but long term, let's agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to agree on this, but just from our minister in Canada talking about, how long and the repercussions of this pandemic, Brazil's not going to be coming out of this before 5 years. You know,
I
I don't
agree.
see,
I agree.
I don't see anything getting better. So Lou and I, We were thinking about selling our concept, getting it ready to do the franchises and sell it, like the actual project, to a bigger company maybe, or try to advertise to sell it. Or we'll just keep it in our back pocket, and when things get better, I'll launch it because I'll have all my documents, and I'll start selling the brand. You know what I mean? When things get better. But Lou's a vet, so she's doing her thing, and I'm going back into doing my business, stuff online. Clients. I'm looking. I'm doing interviews in Canada to work here, but make Canadian money. To get us through it.
I got you. Yeah, it's a rough time, and it's so true, man. Brazil is gonna at least 2022 before things even start to
We don't even
get
have
back.
vaccines yet. We don't have vaccines yet. Canada. I mean, they just started doing. I think they did my mother's age at 72.
Actually, Canada is not doing very well either because
they're getting hit for the third wave now. Like.
Yeah. Well, Canada's got they're doing the 2-stage vaccine just like we are here in Brazil, but apparently, like they're having real trouble figuring out the time gap between the first and second jab. Here in Brazil, almost nobody is vaccinated, but a buddy of mine who's like 81 and diabetic, he got his shots. He got both of them, and they were timely. They were like, I think 2 months apart. But apparently in Canada, the problem is if you wait too long between the jabs,
it's not good anymore.
Then the second one doesn't do anything.
Well, it's the same with dogs.
Yeah.
If you go 1 or 2 days out, you're screwed. It has to be on the exact date,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
So I think, though, like what we're looking at here is we probably just have to take an attitude change, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like not
online more,
Well, no, maybe just taking the mentality that this is always going to be with us, and it's just something we're going to have to live with. Hopefully, you can get inoculated against it. If you can't, it's not the end of the fucking world. Like, people need to be able to make a living and go on with their lives and do business.
Right. Well, we're going to launch a poutine kit. So if anybody's listening, we're going to start selling where you can make it at home.
Nice.
Oh, I like that.
The gravy and the fries and the cheese curds. So you can buy.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, Carey, I want to go just down memory lane with you a little bit, and I know you participated here. There she is, right there, guys. On Hell's Kitchen, the Brazilian version of Hell's Kitchen, which is called Cozinha Sob Pressão, like the under pressure kitchen.
It was the first season of Hell's Kitchen when it was bought out. Yeah.
I remember you talking about that.
She's down here at the bottom. There she is.
I did it just for marketing for the restaurant. I didn't want to.
From Midland, Canada. There you go. And she said that perhaps we can. Brazilians can learn a little bit about Canadian cuisine and vice versa. And how did you get, so you said you did it for marketing for the restaurant, but how did you get involved in the Brazilian television stuff like that? Because I know you were also on Ana Maria Braga, which, guys, Ana Maria Braga is the Brazilian version of, I guess, Martha Stewart, just that she's like high all the time. Like she talks in this dead voice.
She's a lot better looking, though.
She's a lot better looking. She used to talk to a parrot, but the parrot died. The guy that was the puppet master for the parrot. And I just know I used to just be hungover and fucked up from a Sunday, and she would come on, and I don't know what the hell I was watching. It was like a lady talking to a parrot, and I just know I loved it. And with this voice. Yeah, which is weird. Like, okay, today on the show we have, she doesn't change that voice. But anyway, I want some stories. How did you get involved with just the Brazilian media splurge there?
Well, I think it was just when I did the show, I got chosen really fast. I think just because I was, a foreigner, and every show has their script. You know what I mean? So they have to have the foreigner, they have to have the farmer, they have to have the gay, they have to have the black guy, they have to, you know what I mean? So I just filled the script basically, and I realized pretty quick that I wasn't, not because I didn't have talent, it was just because I played my part You know, I think I
Mm-hmm.
made the last 6 out of 18 chefs,
Oh,
which is
cool.
pretty good. Not having any, because everybody had university, and I was the only one that was self-taught. So I think I did pretty good actually. But um, it was just I got chosen pretty. Maybe just the luck, like I said. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they liked my profile. They liked where I came from, being a photographer in film and television, that kind of
Cool.
deal. And some of the I've worked with like pretty big stars and really good magazines and agencies here. So you know, my profile. I think my profile fit what they were
And you
looking.
spoke some Portuguese, I imagine.
No, very little. My Portuguese
Oh,
is
goodness.
pretty
Yeah.
bad after
But
16
they
years. I'm
love
not
that
very
though.
good at languages. Huh?
They love your lack of Portuguese sometimes.
Yeah, they like it.
Sometimes they do. By the way, just before we move on, I just want to say hi to some people that were in the chat here. Israel, which came in early on, and then we got Robert Handon, who said that the Brazil P1 variant shut down ski resorts in Canada. So Brazil is making waves all over the world. And Stephanie Dorsiant, she just said, "Hey."
Hi,
So
Stephanie.
we're saying, hey, bag, what's up, guys? Thanks for dropping by. If you got any questions or comments about investing in a business in Brazil, starting a business in Brazil, Carey is a Canadian expat who started her own restaurant down here, and it had a it's still having a run. I was going to put it
It
in the
is.
past
Oh, it's
tense.
still
It's
plugging
just
along.
it's still plugging. Where everybody's having a hard time since the pandemic. But guys, check out her website, which is right here. Let me share this, Carrie. Just give me a second. I'm going to get you off the screen there for a second and share her website, which is Canuck Poutine right there. So you can go there and you can see the menu. And I see that she also has a Facebook page. So let me just share that on the screen. And later, guys, as usual, at some point tomorrow, I will put the links to everything so
And
you
you,
can easily click on it. But give me just one
yeah,
second here, Pete.
yeah.
There you go. There's Pete's message. Prep it, cook it, love it. There's Carey Evans, Canadian Chef Carey. So on Instagram, and she's a Canadian chef. Participated in the third season of Hell's Kitchen Brazil, and she's been doing a whole bunch of stuff. So there's Carrie, there's her Instagram. So later on, Carrie, I'm gonna just put all these down in the comments. So if people want to get a hold of you and order some food, they
Awesome.
can.
Thanks, guys.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
and
Pete. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say that you can actually order food through the Facebook page directly.
Yes, yes,
Yep.
yes.
You can send
Unfortunately,
a WhatsApp to us, and you can pick it up on at the channel, or you can order your own motor, like your own driver, and with Loggy, and they'll pick it up for you.
yeah. And the only reason I haven't done that is because it requires a bank account, which I don't have after 7 years in Brazil.
Oh, Pete, we're
But
gonna do it. I'm gonna invite Pete over my house. We're gonna order some fucking Canadian food because I never
Have
had
some
it.
poutine, guys. I'll make
all right,
uh,
that would be awesome.
I'll
Where
fill
is the restaurant located, Carrie?
We're
Stephanie's
on,
asking
we're
in the
on
comments.
Rua Tangára, 145. It's right between Instituto Biológico. One block down is Ibirapuera Park, and there's like
Yeah, it's very close to Ibirapuera Park.
yeah, and there's Cinemateca that's there too, the cultural Brazilian cinema. They have events there all the time. We're not too far from the metro, probably like a 15-minute walk, 10-minute walk
Yeah,
from
this is in
Anaheim.
Villa Mariana neighborhood, right?
It's in Villa
On the south
Mariana,
side.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I just opened up the little map there that you can get. There you go. So yeah, oh, it's very close to Ibirapuera Park.
Yep.
Yeah, very close, like one block.
Not that you
Oh,
can
there
go
you
to
go.
Ibirapuera Park, but it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a metro right there. Is that no? That's Anahaza. Where's the Villa
Yep.
Mariana? There's
We're
Santa
between
Cruz.
we're between Metro or Villa Mariana and Anahosa. So,
There you go.
oh,
So
nice.
easy to get to, guys. Easy to get to.
yep.
So, and I like that what you said is, and I do this sometimes, is I'll order and then I'll just pick it up. So there's that. And a buddy of mine, he opened up a Jamaican jerk chicken restaurant, and
Nice. I'll be checking that out then. Give me that
oh
link.
well, Yeah, I'll send you that link. And yeah, he managed to deliver all the way here, but I kind of had to do one of those deals where I had to hire a driver to come all the way down to Butantã because his restaurant is in downtown São Paulo. And Stephanie does love some poutine. Where are you from, Stephanie? Let us know where you're from. Um, so she loves some poutine. So that's good because by the
Yeah,
last name
you got
sounds like a
yourself a new
French.
customer.
Yeah,
There you
it's
go.
awesome.
There you go. Sounds like a French last name, so maybe she's from Quebec. Who knows?
Cool.
Let me stop sharing right there. So, guys, check this out. This is what's happening right now. This is what's happening. Give me a second. My favorite music. My
Oh,
favorite.
bollocks. You need to give me a heads up for this shit, man. I need to pull up the questions.
Brooklyn by way of Miami. So we got Stephanie is here, but her family is Haitian. Oh, ooh, we got a whole nice mix. So yes, Stephanie, you got to stop by
Nice.
Carey's restaurant and then stop to get some jerk chicken afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the good thing about São Paulo, though. Come on, São Paulo
it's
just
getting better.
has
It's definitely getting better. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I know. The improvement in Mexican cuisine alone has been amazing.
it has yes,
Yeah.
because
I love Mexican food.
it was sorry when I first got to Brazil, and just different palates. Like now we see Thai. I haven't had any of the Thai food here, but at least like I see Thai restaurants. So I imagine that eventually it's gonna get to kind of official level. Indian has gotten way
Yeah.
better
Oh
since I
man, I
got
ordered
here.
Indian on Saturday. It was amazing. It was amazing.
By
Hmm.
why? Which one?
I don't remember the name of the restaurant. I want to say Namaste, but
Mm.
I think they don't deliver here anymore because they're. I moved recently, and now they won't deliver to where I moved 50 meters from. Like, so I moved 50 meters further away, and half of Uber Eats and iFood won't deliver to me anymore.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, but there's been a little bit of a growth in international cuisine in São Paulo. So this is the big propaganda for come to São Paulo if you like to eat, because the rest of Brazil you're not really gonna get these
Exactly.
choices. You're really not.
No,
So
Yeah.
what we like to do with our expats when they come to the show is give them a little quiz, okay? And
Uh-oh.
yeah, well, I always warn our guests that if you do fail the quiz, I will be writing to the consulate of your home country. So there's a
Don't
possibility
do that. Come on.
that you may be deported, but it's a slight chance, okay? It's a slight chance. Oh, there you go. I had some really good Vietnamese here. I love pho. Yes, and
oh,
with
nice, nice.
obviously with Liberdade, you have some good Japanese, some good Chinese. You have some bad Japanese and bad Chinese too. And I've never seen Vietnamese, but there's a Korean area in São Paulo too, which is really nice. In
Yeah,
what's the name of that neighborhood now? I forgot.
there's a
Oh,
nice Korean barbecue around Brigadero, actually.
I've never seen it. No. The name of the neighborhood will come to me, but I totally forgot it. But let's get to the quiz. Well, the first question is, Carrie, what is the best thing about Brazil?
Oh, I think the open street markets. I love the food markets, like the fresh vegetables.
Nice.
I like that too. I love them. Sunday morning,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
a pastel. Nothing like it if you get a good one.
good
And I
stuff.
think,
All right, Phil. Phil, I get number two,
oh,
which
you got the
is
questions. There you go. Look
I
ahead.
do. I pulled them up. I'm ahead
Yes.
of the game. What is the worst thing about Brazil?
I think that the things that make me sad. Let's put it that way. Friendships are not that deep. They run very shallow. Sorry,
Yes.
no, my partner. No, I'm just saying. I'm talking about my own perspective. I'm not going to do a big fight here. Um, it's just that I find it's very superficial. Um, they're just like it's when the pandemic wasn't happening, it was more like, oh, let's get it for a beer, but it's like you don't get that feeling. It's like a deep rooted friendship, like you really
Yeah, best friends for a day.
it's a friend for a day or a night out. The other thing I think that would make making plans. You can't, I can
Yeah.
making plans with somebody, it took me a long time, many, 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 many years to get used to that. Like Lou, we went to Canada like last year, and we make a plan. She's like, "Oh, don't you need to call?" I'm like, "No, I don't need to call my friends in Canada to make sure that we're going. We just go, even though we haven't talked to 2 weeks. We're going. You don't need to do
Right.
a pre-phone call if it's still happening. No, even if it was, in the middle of a party the night before and we all agree to do it, it's going to happen. Here,
I agree.
no, it doesn't happen.
Right.
Most plans are pretty fly by night, So I think those are the two things that make me sad.
Okay.
Carey, what's your favorite Brazilian food?
No. My wife is saying baiano dois. It's not that. It's
Oh, I love that. That's so
virado.
delicious.
Virado.
Ah, that's good too.
Oh, that's good shit.
On
Yes.
Mondays, I like the tutu with the fried banana, pork
Sao
chop,
Paulo
and
special, man.
yeah.
The virada, is it called virada paulista, right?
Yep, it's my favorite.
Yep.
Yeah, let me get.
And the
I'm gonna
egg.
get one
The
of
egg
these.
makes it.
Let me get one of these on the screen here so people can see what that is. But the baião de dois is delicious. I had that for the first time like 3 years ago. I was like, "What the hell is this?" It was delicious. But there you go. That's the
It's
virada
pork chops and
paulista.
eggs. It's pork chops and eggs, basically.
Yes.
But it's so good.
It's really good.
And here's the baião de dois right there, guys, which is a really tasty little dish.
Really
Go
good.
ahead,
It's
Pete.
got, like, fresh cheese in it. It's really good.
It's super good. Go
Nice.
ahead.
All right. So we've covered your favorite Brazilian food. What is your least favorite Brazilian food?
I hate feijoada.
Really? Oh my god. Oh my
I
god.
don't know why. I'll tell you why.
Blasphemy.
No. I'll tell you why. I just think it's too heavy. If it's just the
It
black
is.
the black beans
It
with a little
is.
bit of dried like jerk chicken, that's good. I just don't like all the stuff in it. I find it a bit too heavy.
I got you.
I've
You
been
know,
shitting for 48 hours because of feijoada.
I agree with Carrie, though. I agree with Carrie. Like, it's way too heavy for me. Actually started giving me ulcers. It was so heavy. So every once in a while, no, it's in mouth ulcers. Yeah, it was really like it's acidic. You need to eat that orange afterward. It's very
I
important.
find it a bit heavy, that's all.
But the light feijoadas aren't bad. Sometimes they'll make a
Yeah.
feijoada light, which isn't
I
too
like the
bad.
ribs, if it just has ribs in it, but not all the other stuff.
Is it me, Pete? Is it? I think that
No, it's your turn. It's your
Okay.
turn.
So, what's your favorite Brazilian drink? Could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Favorite Brazilian drink. I make fresh juice, so anything that's fresh. I don't like to eat anything processed, so I think the more natural it is, the more I like it. I don't drink alcohol either, so.
Stephanie's here is like,
What?
oh my god. I don't know if it was because Carrie doesn't like feijoada or because Pete was shitting all day.
No, I'm still getting over Carrie doesn't drink alcohol. Like, my God.
Not that much, like I used to, and it just doesn't agree with me anymore. I don't know why. I think it's
I can relate to that.
I find that it makes me feel worse as I'm getting older, so.
Fair
Pete's
enough.
blood is alcohol.
I know.
Yeah.
I read his post where he wakes up.
I know. I know. And I went through this like 10-year period where I didn't drink at all. It just like started to agree with me again. But at any rate, Carrie, next question is, what is the best place you have visited?
In Brazil.
In
Yes,
Brazil,
of course,
obviously.
yeah.
There was two places that I like a lot. I like Trindade. No, hold on. Paraty. Paraty, but then there was another place, I went to Porto Seguro with some friends, and we drove about 4 or 5 hours from Porto Seguro down the coast, and I think it's called Caraçá or Carambau. Sorry, that's what it's called, Carambau. It was the most beautiful place I'd ever been to in my life. Like the
Nice.
beaches, yeah. It
Oh,
wasn't
look at this.
it wasn't overrun, but Carambau, it was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
There it is, Carambao, with the triangular beach.
Yeah, and it has
There you
like a
go.
native reserve there. You walk down the beach about 2 or 3 miles, and it's totally isolated. It's not densely populated with tourists. The tide goes out in the morning, and people are doing yoga. Ah, it's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it looks
And
great.
it's cheap. It's really, really beautiful.
There you go, and you just gotta go up the coast there, Carambao. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's Porto Seguro all the way up there, which I hear is also a very beautiful spot, right? Porto Seguro. There it is,
Yeah,
Porto
you can stay
Seguro.
for that.
Yes,
But
and now, what do you think is the most overrated location or thing about Brazil? You know, think something that people just rave about, and you're like, yeah, it's okay.
Rio de Janeiro, I think Copacabana, it is ridiculous. I don't even think it's pretty. I don't like anything about it.
I'm with Carrie on this one.
Yeah.
Definitely. Stephanie here says she loves Paraty and Trinidad is beautiful, and she says you should check out Jericoacoara. And I have a
Yeah.
friend that
It's
went there,
Fernando de
and it's,
Noronha. Yeah.
yes, absolutely
I've been wanting to
gorgeous.
go there.
Yes. No, a friend of mine went to Fernando, and another one went to the Jericoacoara. I can't pronounce it. Jericoacoara. But
Koala.
you got to take a little, like, I think you take a little helicopter or something to get there. It's so isolated, and you get
Cool.
all these sand dunes and everything. So it's a nice place to go. Go ahead, Peter.
Yes. Next question, Carrie, is what is the best place to chill in Brazil, of course?
Uh, no, no,
Hmm.
no. Here in São Paulo, in São Paulo.
Oh, in Sao Paulo. Okay.
Yes, in her city, São Paulo.
All right. Yes, I just saw that in your city. All right. So yeah, best place to
Best place to
chill in
chill,
Sao
probably just
Paulo.
in my home with my 22 parrots and with my wife and my 2 dogs and a cat and a dragon I have. So we're very family oriented here.
Oh, I like the
Okay.
dragons. Do you take the dragon out for a walk?
No, he runs around the house, plays with the
Okay,
cat.
okay, nice. Well, you live in Vila Mariana, close to
We just
your.
moved. We're now in Ipiranga, like close to. We're near the other park now, Museo or
Oh,
Ipiranga.
well, if I
Damn, that's
may,
out there.
yeah, it is out there. But if I may, I think that that's an awesome place to chill, and I've seen some good shows there. I saw Buddy Guy there, Milton Nascimento.
Cool.
Real nice place, real nice little park there, the Ipiranga Museum Park.
Yeah, it's not very big, but it's cute, eh?
Mm-hmm. Well, it kind of extends down, like you walk for a bit. It's not like Ibirapuera big, but it's a
No,
nice
it's
size.
tiny. It's actually
Yeah.
tiny. Yeah.
I think it's me.
No, it's
It's
your
my
turn.
turn.
It's your
Oh
turn.
my God. All right, we're almost finished here, and now we want to know what's your favorite Brazilian musician or band.
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know anything. I like bossa nova,
There you
but
go.
but I like that studio vibe, kind of bossa nova.
Mm-hmm.
But Brazilian music, I'm not a big fan. Sorry, guys. Hate me
No,
on that
that's
one.
fine.
But I'm not a big fan.
Fair
No,
enough.
that's no,
Fair enough.
fair enough. No, I was hanging with a friend this weekend who hates Brazilian music too, but
Yeah, most Brazilians hate Brazilian music.
I'm not a big carnival fan. I don't
Stephanie,
like carnival. I don't
let me
like all
say,
the crowds.
Stephanie's got to go. So thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit, Stephanie. We're almost out of here ourselves.
Thanks,
So
Stephanie.
thank you, and thank it's
Thanks, guys.
everybody else. Yeah, and thank it's everybody else that hung out and people that will be listening throughout the week because usually we get our viewers throughout the week. And she did say you can get to Jerry, that Jericoacoara place, by bus, and then have the option of taking a buggy or truck to get there from the bus terminal. the trucks are super cheap, so I'd suggest that option. So look at that. Stephanie's got all the
Very
tips.
cool.
Oh, we're going to have her on to
Yep.
give us
We
some
should,
travel
yeah.
tips. Yes, so I got to find out how to get a hold of Stephanie. Oh,
And now
it's
it is
Stephanie. I
my
know who Stephanie is. That's my friend Stephanie, I was at the barbecue yesterday. I think
the
so.
barbecue that you were talking about an hour ago.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, because I never say her last name. I know intimately who Stephanie is. Not that intimately, guys. But yes, I love Stephanie to death. Okay, she was the one that I was saying that went to Fernando. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. All right. Final question.
Final
Carey,
question.
one word of advice for future visitors to the country.
Just visit.
Really? Don't stay here.
Don't stay. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a place to visit, guys. It's not a place to live. There's the quality of life long term. It
Yes.
doesn't have much survival for expats. I'm sorry, unless you're coming here with money. But to make your own money, it's difficult. Like to be like well off here. Buy a
Well,
house.
that's a downer.
Yeah.
Just visit. And
Have a short and sweet, eh?
you never
Just
know what may
visit.
happen. You never know what could happen if you just visit, and sometimes you may stay.
Well,
you may end up
just
staying.
do it. I mean, I
Yeah.
did it. I mean, I'm just telling you, I never imagined me staying down here for 16 years, but I did. And I knew something was keeping me here. I knew I had to be here. But I'm just saying now that I'm old, now I'm way older, and it's time for me to go home. Like it's time for me to, I don't know, because I don't see the future like I was seeing before the pandemic. With franchising and stuff like that, it's difficult.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's that much future in Canada either, though. Like looking at it now, it doesn't seem to matter where you are. Like you might as well just be where you are.
Yeah, but at least Canada, I have healthcare. Here I don't.
Yeah, that's a big selling point. Yeah.
It's a huge selling point for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let me share something with y'all again, which is Carrie's Facebook page, which I really like because it's got all her information on there.
Great.
It's got everything. I love it. And Carey Evans, let me just close. Somebody's sending me messages here, so let me close that. So
That's not
Carey
my
Evans.
Facebook page, actually.
Oh,
That's
it
not
isn't.
my Facebook. No, that's just my work one.
Oh yeah, but I want to get your work one, unless you want a bunch of strangers, messaging you. If you want, I don't mind.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying my Facebook page. That's not it. It has more information. It shows my photography.
Oh, let me see. Then what is it? What is it?
I did a big show for Discovery Channel here in Brazil. I did an exhibition for them. There's a video there, the making of. It should be on my link. But it's just Carey Evans Brazil with the S, Brazil.
Is it linked over here to this page or no?
No. It's completely separate. Just go to Facebook.
Let me try it like this.
/Carey Evans Brazil all together.
You'll
actually get my personal page.
Okay. Brazil with a Z, I imagine.
No, it's with an S.
All right. All right. I'm going to share that after.
Yeah.
Because it's
but
not
there's a
opening.
link on there. Like if you go to YouTube, you can just Google my name, photography, and you'll see some projects that I did there. There's some cool stuff.
Send that to me later on WhatsApp.
All right.
Because then I can link everything down here real nice. There you go. I got your YouTube page. And I can share that real quick. But before we get there, just real quick, guys. If you want to support the food, Rua Tangára, okay? And you got canucks.com.br, so you got the link there. You got the phone number. As Pete said, you can order straight from the Facebook page. You got the Gmail. You got the Instagram page that I just clicked on right now. So you got the Instagram. So she's all over the place. There's a way to get a hold of her.
Yeah,
I'm going to follow you on Instagram. And is this you here, Carey Evans? Because I do see that I got a YouTube page, but I'm not sure if it's yours. Let me share it.
This is one before I got fat in Brazil. Oh, I was actually a pretty good looking lady. Oh, wow. I'm shocked. Hold on, look at this.
Is this the right one? Is this it? Carey Evans?
Hold on.
No, that's somebody else.
Yeah.
That's a different Carey Evans right there.
That's
There's a
definitely not our Carey.
no, that's not me.
Yes.
That's not me.
There's
No,
another
but there's
Carey Evans here.
look in the conversation here on the side on the private chat. I just sent you 2 links.
Oh,
and
you sent me the links. All right.
go into the
All right,
link that I just sent you.
There you go. That's gonna work. Give us a second
Nope.
here, guys. We are working live. So exciting. All right. Oh no, I just close that. Let's try that again. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna share the whole screen. It's way easier. Okay, there you go. There's Carey.
Yeah, that's me in studio.
Oh, nice, nice.
Making
I used to date a photographer here, man, and she spent buttloads of money on equipment. That shit does not look cheap.
No, it's not.
So guys, if you want to find her, is it Carey Otis? That's how I find you on YouTube.
Yeah. But anyway, my old life.
Oh, that's a
All right,
hunky
but
man.
yeah, it looks like good work, man. Yeah, before we go, like you mentioned that you've worked in film and television. Like, do you want to drop any names or anything?
Like what? Of who I photographed?
Yeah, who you've worked with.
Sophia Loren, I photographed.
Oh,
Scarlett
wow, she's a goddess.
Yeah. Scarlett Johansson, Harrison Ford, Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Jesus Christ.
And we want to know who the
I can go
assholes
on
were.
and on. William H. Macy. I can go on and on.
Wow, that's super cool though. That you have this.
That is
this
cool.
background.
Yeah, but things change, eh? Going to Long Island, going to parties in New York, that is so far from what I do now. Jeez.
I know. Things change so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like, well, not that you didn't love what you did then. It seems like you dropped into something that you love doing now. So
You know what really helped me? I'll tell you one thing about the best thing I think I got out of this whole experience in Brazil. I used to be I was always super friendly, but I was very reserved. I was insecure and it didn't show, but I was quiet because of that insecurity. And I think coming to Brazil pulled me out of that shell because it forced me to communicate more with people. And I am completely different in that aspect than when I first got here like 16 years ago. People would never believe that I was quiet or shy. You know?
Right.
Yeah, so it really helped with me with that. Really helped a lot, actually.
Yeah, you got to sink or swim.
Yeah.
Wait, I got your regular page up. Wait up. I fixed my technical difficulties here. So let me show people a little bit of your work here on your Facebook page. Yeah, but Brazil will do that to you because, like, you can't have step it down here. It's just not a place where you can have step. You know, you got to go full board, like you said at the beginning, right? Which was
I didn't
what?
speak the language either, so I was by myself. I had nobody. I came by myself. Like, even though I had an aunt or person, they weren't involved in my life. They weren't around that much, you know. So I was really alone. So
I did the same.
yeah.
Like no help at all.
Is this you?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some dogs.
Yeah, her dog. Let's all congratulate Carey on getting her dog back because she lost her dog, and she got it back. So
I got my dog back after 4 days. He was gone.
Ah,
he was horning around the city.
Yeah, he probably has an amazing story to tell, but he'll probably never tell it to you. Yeah.
Oh, these are cute. It's an animal family.
We are an animal family, for sure.
Oh, look. And then you got the big old moose there, just to...
That's in the restaurant.
That's Canadian as fuck, eh?
Very cool.
Anyway.
So, guys, support Carey's work any way that you can, whether it's through her photography, whether it's through her food. Um, you got all the contact info. I'm going to put it in the comment section as I usually do. So just give it a day because I do work tomorrow, but eventually it'll be up and with some timestamps too.
Yeah, if
So,
anybody needs any help with business or how to start something up, I'm open. You can send me a message. I'll help you as much as I can.
cool. Yes.
Cool.
Find them a good lawyer.
Cool. Yeah.
Uh, so, all right, Carey, thank you so much for coming
Thanks for having me,
on.
guys. I really
Yeah, it was so
Yes.
great to have you on, man. It's like you have a very unique story, but it's a story that I think is very helpful to a lot of people who might be listening.
I agree, because you just came with nothing and just went gung ho. So you need to have
Yeah.
that attitude, especially in
Yeah, you
Brazil.
have to give it your all here. It's not something you can do half-assed. That's for sure. I think.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
All
So
right. Well,
just
thanks for having me, guys.
chill for like about 10 seconds here. We got some outro music, and then we're gone.